In this episode, we're gonna do something pretty simple using animation nodes and particles. So it's gonna be a little bit of improv. So basically, I will have like some kind of particle emitter. This guy right here, just the box, and we're gonna generate a bunch of particles. And I want these particles to come in contact with this floor and create some kind of collision message. And we actually want to turn on kill particles. So if we play back, let's just emit like 100 particles and then play back. When the particles come in contact and hit the floor, it's gonna die, and that particular position actually something that we can track using animation nodes. And this is probably something that you need or you at some point. So ion particle kill point, that's gonna be the name. Okay, so let's jump into animation nodes and see how this can be useful for us. So turn on animation nodes, new, and we just turn off always. And we will use particle nodes. Get there's a couple of nodes that we need, but I'll just create particles data first of all. So this nodes says we need some kind of particle, which particle is being unborn, alive, dying, or dead. The one that we want is the one that's dead. So particles from objects, we just grab our objects with particles, and these objects can have multiple particle system, but we just need the one that's currently active. So just plug that in, and I think that's pretty much it. And we can actually check it using the viewer nodes and look at how many particles. So as the particle drops and then hits the floor, it's gonna generate that positions where it actually died. So let's emit like 10 particles only within 100 frames and play back. Okay, so yeah, it is working. So now what I like to do is to use icosphere and perhaps like create an instance of this icosphere whenever it drops, whenever particle died and that at that particular points in 3D space. Okay, so we can use instancer. Just grab this icosphere, and we're gonna copy full objects and deep copy, and the locations, the number of instance will be the length, the total number of particles that is died, and the position will be coming from this as well. So object transform output, this is the instance, and the position will be coming from this guy. So this should be pretty much it. So particle drops, and then it's gonna generate instance at that particular point. So that can come in handy. So at this point, my question will be like, I have a couple of ideas. Maybe when it hits the floor, it should generate sounds. That's possible, but the sound needs to be only being triggered one time, not like a multiple pulse of time. So that's one idea. That's it becomes a new problem in itself. Maybe in the future I will do that, or maybe we can kind of grow a plant of some sort. Whenever the particle drops, it needs to track how long the particle has died at that point, and then kind of grow something based on that. I don't know if how we can think of particles in Blender. Maybe each particle should have some kind of lifetime, right? So these particles, we are emitting 10 particles between these frames, and the lifetimes of each particle is 50. So when the particle got born, they have some kind of age, maybe like a negative value, and then as the time goes by, it's gonna reach 0 at some point, and this is when the particle died, when it hits maybe when the particle has accident and hits the floor and it dies, and then from here on it's gonna go up in time. And this is something that if we can track it, I think it can be useful. My idea is maybe we can actually emit new particles at that point in time. So I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Maybe so for now I'll probably like try this. So the icosphere now will emit particles. So let's do it this way. So these particles will drop, and then once it hits the floor, it's gonna emit the icosphere, and the icosphere emits particles. Currently, I think what's going on is that this particle and these particles are pretty much the same, which is not really what we want. Because if you look at here, this is the master object, and the particle system it's using is the same as these 9 objects. So maybe if we kind of like generate new particle system whenever this icosphere being generated, so this guy needs to have like its own particle system. So I believe this is possible if we just like click on this and make it single user. Yeah, I think the way particle system being duplicated or being instanced here using animation nodes currently is that it's simply kind of linking it into the master particle system. So if only we can create our own particle system for each instance, then we might be able to track like how long this particle originally has died on that point, and then kind of emitting a newborn particles at that point. Maybe that's something that I need to think about first. But yeah, but basically that's the whole idea here. It's a bit complex. So if, this is the emitter, and let's just drop it. So this one's already starting, but once you see, this guy doesn't seem to emit particles, or they're somewhere there. Let me try something here live. So that guy seems to be looking at these particles. Maybe I just need to click on this guy. I'm not sure what's gonna happen now. So now oh yeah, seems like it's not really working unless the particle system here can be randomized. Yeah, probably not as simple as I thought, but I think we can get around it somehow. So that's pretty much how, if you want to set up something like this. So I will delete this particle system, so we don't need that anymore. But basically we have this icosphere, and whenever we want to generate like a bunch of objects where the particles actually died, you can do it this way. And this is actually kind of like a live effects in Blender. You can move around these objects, and then whenever the particle drops on the floor, it's gonna kind of like paint it on that surface. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. This is pretty simple, but I guess should be interesting. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, feedbacks, let me know in the comments. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.